I'm just kind of like, I found a pretty good camp spot last night, guys. Uh, hey, what's up, Matt? Who's everybody we have in the room? Looks like we got four already. That's pretty good. I saw Matt. Who else is here? Let's see. Uh, anyway, yeah, I found a pretty decent spot up north. What is it? Shar, Sheraton? Uh, anyway, I was in Sheraton and uh, I couldn't really find anything right along the beach in the actual little. It's a small little town. It's almost kind of reminds me of Pai, like up north in Thailand and stuff. Kind of like same type of vibe. And anyway, it definitely has that. What do you say? That coastal vibe. And anyway, so I couldn't really find anything in town. I even went down south and checked the campgrounds there. It was like one of those call to make an appointment or something like that. Everybody wants to do everything through WhatsApp, and their hours were 9 to 6, and I think I was there at like 6:05. But that was like a pay for campground anyway. But they had basically everything more or less fenced off for the campground. So I was like, chances of free camping down here are not real great. So what I did was there was another spot. I saw this spot up north because there's actually a campground a little north, just down the street from here. But it looks like a glamping area, and I figure I'm going in the general areas where the camping places are at. I'm just not camping usually in them. But here, I'll show you my camping area right now. I'm hiding behind the mosquito net because I just oh, by the way, my it's only like 7 bits. The upload speed is only like 7 bits right now per second. So you might get a little pixelated here if I start moving around too much. But um, I just yeah, got one of those burning now. But depending on which side the wind's blowing. So the road is right there. So I'm just far enough back, and there's some. I'm actually behind some trees here, so I got plenty of privacy. And that's not like a main road anyway. That just the campground's down this way, so I'm actually before the campground. And the rain hit, and actually it's still kind of sprinkling. It not right now, but it was just a little while ago. So I got my hex fly up this time, um, tied off with the tree straps because the span on this one was a little bit larger, but that's good. Um, yeah, and I got my bicycle underneath because the hex fly gives me a lot more room. Hex fly is way better for like if you're doing like more longer term. But if you're just passing through a spot and you want to be more stealth like, the the small rain fly that it comes with is pretty good for light rains that are coming straight down. But but if the rain's a little sideways, like just a little bit of wind picks up, it's very easy to get water up on the bottom side of your hammock. And yeah, it's like I said, I prefer this one, but the footprint's so much bigger. You know, you need actually 6 spots to actually tie it off compared to 4 spots as the other rainfly is. But yeah, Hennessy hammock's pretty awesome. This is really the first hammock I ever had, but being a fan of all types, everything bushcraft, everything survival. Um, I know how popular. All right, guys, I'm gonna get back into my hammock here and do the live stream from my hammock just to get away from the mosquitoes. The coils are not fully working yet because the wind's blowing it a little in the wrong direction. All right. Anyway, let's see. use this hand. It is, yeah. So if you look, pull up the. I dropped actually a pin where I was at in the Telegram board, which is, you can find a link to that in the description. Also, I updated the Google Map diary, so yeah, I got all my stuff hanging. That's how you keep everything organized. Is you put these little here, you know, these. Let's see if I can get one. These hair, you know, that women wear in their hairs, and then you tie it. You basically tie it off to the ridge line. That way, when you have something like your socks or something, you're gonna easily just put them in like that, and it keeps it out. You know, I mean, you can also use it to hang your wet clothes and stuff. But I actually hang up my wet clothes outside. I don't prefer. For a while I actually was hanging my wet clothes on the inside. You know, my sweaty clothes on the inside. I'm like, they're just sweaty clothes. You know, if they get rained on, then they're probably getting washed a little. You know. If I have a chance to actually rinse out my sweaty clothes, I will. You know, if there's fresh water source, or even salt water sometimes. You know, even though you're just you're trading out one, you know, salt water for another. Um, yeah. So here in Sheraton, or there's supposed to be a lantern festival. I think tonight and tomorrow. That's what they were setting up for. I edited the video last night, uploaded it. I have to put the final touches on it and all that stuff, and I'll get it up. But yeah, so they're setting up on the beach there. And anyway, they were setting up on the beach, and I wasn't sure what it was they're setting up for, but then someone dropped a post that, yeah, there's some type of lantern festival or something this weekend. So I'm sticking around for that. I really haven't explored the beach here. This is like up northern, but only by a few kilometers, like I think maybe 3 kilometers, and I'll be back in Sheraton. But it's a miracle that the Wi-Fi lines are fine where you're at. Well, I'm really close to everything. No offense. I don't see how I would take that as offense. By the way, guys, I don't take really things. Well, I don't know. Let me rephrase that. I could get pissed off at certain things, but you'll know. But I'm a big fan of sense of humor. So you guys understand that everything's pretty well. I take lightheartedness. And what I take offense to is when someone else takes offense to something. So like when someone gets, so I like mirror someone else's attitude. That's what it is. So if they get pissed off, then I return that pissed off to them. You know what I'm saying? So, but if a person's happy-go-lucky, joking around, stuff like this, that's the normal state I'm always in. I'm one of those people that put a lot of stock in emotions, like, well, you know, reading a person's, you know, emotional well-being and stuff like that. But so yeah, and you know, I'm always in a state of lightheartedness and joking around. So you guys can joke around with me a lot. The only time I don't care for is when someone takes something to offense and gets pissed off for something that was a joke or took a comment the wrong way. Uptight, you know, like a Karen attitude. You know how Karens are? You know, we have a nickname for women that are always wanting to try and control everything. And you shouldn't be doing this and that. Yeah, I don't like that type of person, but that's easy. If I don't like a certain type of person, you just avoid them. But yeah, so it's a little wet this morning. You got a little bit of sprinkles, but you know, warm, safe, dry. That's where I'm at right now. So yeah, so I'm not like super far out. How am I gonna pronounce that name? I'll call you Hazo. because so I don't take things to offense hardly ever. But I'm also very close to everything for the Wi-Fi, so I'm not super far out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Matt. Matt says don't forget to read the live comments out loud, and right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, it's okay, thank you, without reading it. So, your latest pin looks very far out of the beach. No, no, I'm not really far out. It's actually just a hop, skip, and jump right over there. I just stopped short because the sun was going down. One, I needed to find, the exploring was over. You know, you usually want to give yourself 2 hours before sunset is a comfortable way to set up camp, but a lot of times I push it up to like the last few minutes. Into the dark, it's nearly impossible. You just gotta have to settle for whatever you get because you can't really see anything. Um, and the more you try and explore in the dark, probably the worse the conditions are gonna get. Meaning, you're not really gonna see your surroundings, and the farther you go out into surroundings that you're unfamiliar with, the more blind you're getting. So you know, so I had to kind of set up quickly, and since this actually looked really good. This is just like a field of trees that don't have a lot of jungle. Like so, hang on, let me do this real quick. So you know I'm avoiding the mosquitoes. So underbrush, right? You got to think about the snakes and all that stuff. Especially I never met a cobra, and I don't want to. There's hardly no brush right here, but the jungle does start right there. And same on this side. The jungle actually starts over here. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? The very overgrown bush. So this area right here is actually I kind of lucked out. It's all thinned back. Possibly the cows. I heard the cows out here. You know. Um, but really, it's just so I found a sweet little spot. So I came back enough for privacy, and then just and set up this. But then it started raining on me. I got like one side, so uh, I had got one side of the tarp up just enough so I could throw all my stuff underneath because it started raining on me. I had to quickly unload everything, but luckily I only got like a little wet. Yeah, so I'm not CS. I'm not very far out. Yeah. I think we have Karens. So he goes, yeah, those Karens. I think we have Karens for um, in every country, but I don't know if it's just. I mean, I remember Karens growing up because it was skateboarder, right? And no one at that time, no one really liked. All the older people just didn't like skateboarders anyway, right? It's this new generation where we were skateboarders that we actually really liked skateboarders, so they're accepted now, but not in my era. We were like punk rockers, and you know, so we listened to rock music, chain wallet, spikes, and you know, and skateboarding and all this stuff, and later on it was baggy pants and you know all this stuff. Hats with the bill completely flat, pulled down, you know, over your eyebrows and stuff. Um, so we weren't. We were always the unaccepted crowd growing up. But that's how we liked it. Um, but we always Karens were just was an accepted attitude, but now with like social media and people just filming them, you're like, oh wow, these people are like everywhere. This is like a mental illness. I think Karen is like a mental illness. My mom was a Karen. She always threatens to call the cops on people when you know. I was like, no, you're not. Because you're in the wrong. You know, you don't call the cops on someone when you're the problem. Uh, ever get bit by a mosquito through your hammock? You know what? So Josh was talking about him getting bit by a mosquito through his hammock, and I don't know if that is so. If I did, if it's possible, I had to Google this. So I actually haven't legitimately Googled this, but I'm like, I don't think. I mean, if they could bite you through your hammock, then they would probably bite you through your clothing. And I don't think they put that little that that nose is not like a syringe in strength. It does bend. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm not saying maybe they can go through fabric. I just didn't think mosquitoes actually bit through fabrics. I don't think they do. Um, Now, I think there's a greater chance that you probably you could wake up with the itches and stuff like that because you got bit by mosquito before you got in your hammock. You just didn't notice it until it started itching later. Or two, it was like maybe something you rubbed up against. Like a lot of times, I itch. I really do. So after I'm done riding my bicycle and stuff, I get off. I'm thinking that I've gotten bit by mosquitoes right and left, but there's no mosquito bites. So it's just me itching really bad. So I don't know. Have you, Matt? Have you ever been bit through a hammock? I mean, I know you're laying right against the hammock, so it's like right against your body. So I guess it could be possible. I don't know. Especially with the material that they're made out of. If you got more of an expensive hammock, it's a tougher material. It's waterproof and everything like that. So you wouldn't think a mosquito could actually. Um, I don't know. Someone Google that. Yeah, I know you guys can get off real quick and Google if they can actually bite you through a hammock. Because, like I said, because Josh from Hidden Hammock said he got bit. I'm like, I don't think they could, but maybe they can. How many more days do I have on my visa? Is a question Matt asks. Matt, I guess it's, oh, well, I guess Singapore was almost a month ago. So 2 more months. Uh, yeah, because yeah, I think so. I'll have to double check. Check the date on the Singapore video, and that'll tell you how much longer. They give you 90 days. I'll research that though. Okay, just be careful of the Aedes mosquitoes. I'm assuming you mean tiger mosquitoes because at least that's the nickname we give them because of the stripes on them. But they're usually the ones that carry the fever. Well, I got actually so when I was in Morocco, I ended up getting my malaria shots and stuff like that. So I'm good with that because if you go to South Africa, you need all these shots. So I ended up taking advantage of the fact that Morocco is very cheap to get them, and I still carry that around with my. You have to have the proof, so that's with my passport. But so I'm not sure if those shots cover all the all the nasties that the mosquitoes can carry, but um, yeah, there's not much I can do. I did get off, guys. So I went into Walton, or is it Walton, the drug pharmacy, um, and I had to ask for off, show them a picture. Otherwise, they try and give you the natural stuff. And it's funny because the off was, I think, was it? But anyway, this store actually had the off, so I bought a can of that. And what I realized is they don't label it DEET, right? Because I was looking at this, I said, is there DEET in it? So I had to look up the actual real name of DEET, and that's what they put on the can. They put the full name on the can, right? So that's why I didn't recognize it. You know, it, it's just the places like Thailand and Thailand, even Vietnam and Malaysia and stuff. They're very big, and I don't know if it's from Chinese influence or whatever, but very big in like the herbal remedies of everything, right? And the thing is, there's no problem with the herbal remedies, but usually the chemical remedies are just the chemical extracts of the herbal remedies. So it's just like superpower. So everything is derived from nature somewhere. It's been condensed and stuff like this. So I prefer the man-made ones, but I know that's not too hippie of me. But it's just if I got diarrhea, I don't, charcoal pills. Those actually work okay, but I'd rather have some Pepto Bismol. And anyway, that's just me. That's my hobo. Oh, Hazel, thank you very much. Hazel actually um, gave me 6 ringgit. So I'm assuming if it's ringgit, that means you're right here, here in Malaysia. So that's cool, brother. Tell me if I get close to your place, or I might have passed you up already. Um, Everybody, give him a thumbs up. I think you're technically the first one to use that uh, super chat or whatever live. So that's kind of neat to see how that popped up. Um, and Ali, I know that you've donated, and I've actually had a few people that donated. One guy's from New Zealand and stuff. He's like consistently always dropping some money. And I also have 2 people that have been with me a long time that actually do the monthly, like uh, like clockwork. David and another guy named John. I think John is the same John that was sick when he first started watching my videos, or recovering from, I think, surgery or something. And he was laid up, and it was nice to hear these inspiring words that people were getting inspired by my first videos, because I didn't know anything when I started, guys. I was like, I just picked up my camera and just started shooting. I was like, well, I want to keep my videos around maybe 10 minutes because attention span, and I didn't think anybody would watch. And then I got some really good people who are actually watching. David, so you'll see Puka Life pop up once in a while. He is like one of my first subscribers. John is one of my first, very early on. I'm pretty sure there's some more people in the background. So they still, I mean, they watch all my videos and stuff. They just prefer to sit in the background. And I understand and I appreciate that mentality, because I'm kind of a, introvert type recluse. That's, oh, look at this. Look at this lifestyle. Now taking on YouTube, crazy. It's kind of like, because the interaction that people expect you to have with other people and stuff like this, and it's like you have to, like, they're like, hey, you need to talk to more locals. You need to do this and you need to do that. It's like nails on a chalkboard, because I'm one of those people that, because I'm a recluse, I would try and figure out everything myself. Um, so so it's not it's just, it's one of these natural things. So it's trying to open up to in front of a camera, do all these things. We're all a learning process. Plus, on top of that, trying to learn to edit and stuff. So it's been like a crazy journey for the last 7 months now. So we've been doing this 7 months. So one's like John and David and everybody that become my fans. That it's kind of nice to have a really solid base too. That's been with me. They saw the struggles up to this point. Okay, let me. But thank you, Hazel. Thank you for the 6 ringgit. I definitely, when I first started this, I try to thank everybody, right? Um, as soon as it happened and stuff. But sometimes it just, everything gets so busy. Sometimes I forget to check my accounts and stuff. My what is it? PayPal account and stuff. So. But again, like I said, like I'm also honest about, I do have an income and stuff like that, so I'm honest with everything. Uh, let's see, make sure I didn't overlook anything. Just be careful. Yeah, Google Map. Okay, so CS says Google Maps says I'm 400 kilometers from the beach. Yeah, that's very close. That's not far. Yeah, I would say about 400 meters is not kilometers. 400 meters about right. Can you cook ramen and eating ramen inside your hammock? I think you can do it. No, eating inside the hammock, opening up the hammock and hanging out is okay. Eating inside, crumbs and stuff falls inside, and so I would still have to get out and shake out my tent anyway. But yeah, you want to be careful what you eat in a hammock. So yeah, eating ramen and eating ramen inside the hammock's not the best idea. I got a bit over 100 times. Okay, so Matt, from personal experience, says that he got bit over 100 times in a hammock. Most miserable I've ever been. Through the material is what I'm hoping you're talking about. You must have not had an underquilt or an undermat or something. Um, it was a cheap Eno hammock. Okay, so yeah, I ate some coffee. Uh, Matt, yeah. So Matt said, "Did I eat some coffee again this morning?" Yeah. I stuck it in my mouth and then I chase it in my mouth with some water and I drink it that way. So CS says that's too far for me. I always like to be where I can see the sun rise over the horizon. Yeah. Um, well, it depends if camping. Well, let's put it this way. Where I'm at is a lot safer than being on the beach during storms and stuff. Uh, some of the most miserable times to be is right along the shore when the wind and the storm is going on, which the rain is going on right now, because there's nothing stopping a straight wind right across the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Just and then it just hits the mainland. And if you're right there, if you have something like a rain tarp that's up, this becomes just a huge, like a kite. You know, it's got the flying squirrel effect, and this is built like the uh, the hex fly is built like a flying squirrel. It's almost the same shape, and it will. I mean, unless you are like tied off hard. I had some wooden stakes, so I don't usually carry the metal stakes around with me because I'll just take out my knife and carve up some out of a piece of wood. But when you're at the beach, it's just like sandy ground. So I drove some stakes in, but the wind came in up, and this is in Vietnam, and one of my first camping in Vietnam, right along the beach, and it just started whipping those. It pulled out the stakes out of the ground because it's sandy ground, and then just started whipping those little sharp little sticks everywhere. You know, like I'm like, it's gonna hit my, it's gonna rip right into. So it was hard to untie my tarp to take everything down because I needed to get away from that beach because it was getting really, really bad. It doesn't come out as bad on camera, but it definitely on phone because I was using my phone at the time to film everything. But yeah, I had to take everything down and just get off the shoreline. So that's one of your risks that you do take. But then again, I was also a beach bum in Hawaii and slept along the shoreline all the time. Um, so it just depends on what the weather's like. Here in Malaysia, it's a little bit worse than Hawaii. Hawaii is about as safe as you can get. Um, Another thing you got to worry about is high tide. It's usually you can look for the debris line and know how high the actual tide comes up and stuff. But that's not always the point. Sometimes if you're a little too close to the water, high tide can sneak up on you. And I've thought I was on embankments that were high enough along the water line because uh, if you're ground camping, you can sleep on the sand to keep the centipedes off you. Their feet, small little feet, don't like to go out on the sand. Where if you're more in the grassy and stuff like that, the mosquitoes are everywhere. Or not mosquitoes, the centipedes are everywhere. But if you're on the sand, there's a chance that the water can come up to you. So I thought it was high enough, but nope. So yeah, I've been washed out before. I was washed out in Spain too. Though I was way up on the rock line. I didn't realize the water actually came up that high. But I had all my clothing drying, sitting on top of the rocks, and I kind of snoozed out and I was sleeping. And when I woke up, the water was already like up to where my clothing were at, and I was like, "Oh no!" I had to grab my gear and get up higher. So, um, but yeah, the wind will break up though if you get a little just within the trees a little bit, a few hundred yards into the tree. But now you're talking about, so where I'm at is very safe for worse storms. But I understand, CS, you like to watch the sunrise, and yeah, it'd probably be better keep my camp here and just get up before the sun rises and go over there and sit on the beach. But but I still do it. CS, it's not to say because there's like I agree with you. It's nice to actually. One of the things I really like is when it turns very calm at night and the moon comes out like super bright, and you can just see the reflection just streaming across the actual water line. And if the water's super calm, you get the small little ripples in the water that distort the look, and it just has a surreal look to it. And then if you have some actual stars on top of that, there's nothing better than watching a moon over the ocean. So I do like being right along the water line. It's just you run some risks, and right now I wouldn't say the weather is probably the best for shoreline camping. Okay, so what am I missing here? All right, guys. Anything else, guys? I have one. I'm gonna try and probably just leave at my my camp here because it's a nice little spot, and then try just hop on my bicycle. Because really it's just my camera and my phone. Those are the most expensive items. Everything else is replaceable. Then just grab on my bike and go down to like probably if weather permits it, go down to the Lantern Festival, and I'll have to come back because I'm pretty sure the Lantern Festival is in the dark. That means I'll have to come back this way in the dark. So um, I have a little flashing light on the back, but I don't think the shoulder's the best in the world. There's a little bit of a shoulder though, so I'll just be precautious. Uh, yeah, the full moon, and just I don't know if it's a common terminology, but we used to call it a hunter's moon. Is when it was very bright, and a hunter's moon didn't necessarily even need to be like a full moon, although most people refer to a hunter's moon as a full moon, because that's usually the brightest. But sometimes you can get like a super bright, like even like half moon, or 3/4 moon, and where you don't even need a flashlight. You could just look around and see everything. That's when it can get a little spooky because you can see things in the distance that might not necessarily be there but look like they're there. Like boogeymans and ghosts and stuff. Um, yeah. So Hazel, I'm gonna try and get over there. Hopefully the weather stays up because I saw them setting up yesterday. So when I get all my when I finish up the video for today, I'll start uploading it. That's what the 2,000 gigs for 9 days is for, regardless. I'm running right now. I'm running on the 4G, which where I'm at, it's only 7 bits per second, which is not a good upload speed. It's enough for a live stream, but not really for an upload. So there might be problems with that, is what I'm trying to say. And the upload might have to wait until like I'm back in town, because in town there's good upload and good download speeds. And the town is cool. It's just super small and expensive. So the cheapest accommodations I could find there outside of the campground, I didn't inquire. Well, I inquired the price in the campground, but um, they were already closed. So was $18, and anything over 40 ringgit means I'm camping. But it's like, how much do I want to shower? You know what I'm saying? So, but honestly, $18 is not terrible. It's just the 40 ringgit. So $18 would be like after tax and stuff. You're talking like over 80 ringgit, and so like double the price I usually pay. But I've paid that before. It's just, and I'm not saying that's a ridiculously high price because I come from a place where the cheapest crack hotel is like $60 a night, you know, or the equivalent of was that 240 ringgit. And that's honest. That's how the United States is. That's why the travelers like me in the United States, we use tents. You know, that's all. I mean, that's how we travel. Tents and tarps. A lot of us. Tents, if you want to live it comfortable. Me, I was like, I'll just make my own lean-tos and stuff. I went more a little uncomfortable, but you still need a tarp. And like if the weather starts to hit you, you just loosely burrito roll up into a tarp. Just make sure you're not in a dip, so that you don't end up waking up in a cold bowl of soup. And then you just roll around. And a tarp is actually, if it's big enough, you can just drive a stick into the ground. You can put a tarp over a bicycle. You can, whatever you can do to actually just stay dry. Um, okay, yeah. Flea says, yeah, upload. You want at least 20 megabits per second. That's you. I think you were mentioning that before, and that's what I remembered. So it's I'll probably have packet loss and stuff. I uploaded something last night though. So oh yeah. Wait a second. I don't need to upload. That's right. I uploaded it last night. And what it is the difference. So, excuse me, guys. I retract what I last said. So, this morning it's bad, but last night it was a lot better. So, I don't know if why there's a fluctuation between daytime and evening. Because I had that problem several times actually, where I noticed that the daytime seemed to be a lot less. Maybe it's just bandwidth. I don't know. Uh, so. Yeah, I just then I all I need to do the touch ups on it, thumbnail and all that fun stuff, title and uh, uh, I would love. Matt says I would love it if you went into more markets, grocery places, and stuff like that. Um, yeah, the ones. So he says I saw you pass by a Family Mart the other day. Those places are legend in Japan. I hear. Family Marts and 7-Elevens are done right in Japan, and also Lawson. The thing is they Malaysia they're not even worth walking into, honestly, because they're overpriced. And they're just overpriced. And so the ones I go into, but they don't have. Family Mart is better, but they're still overpriced garbage. You can get way better food off a street vendor here. So Malaysia, it's all about street vendors and 99 Speed Mart. Those are the two you want. 99 Speed Mart just because they're so reasonable on the prices on everything, but they don't have the fresh vegetables and stuff. So if you want those, go into a family-owned business. Uh, you don't have to worry about. I mean, this is a you know it, everybody so it's better to get food directly off the people. I mean, the noodles and the fish soup that I was eating the other day, 6 ringgit, which comes out to $1.50. That's almost, you know, it's crazy that someone would actually spend all that time cooking that only to get $1.50 for a bowl of, fish noodle soup, even in large amounts, Um, so it's best just to pass by the 7-Elevens. Now, Thailand and stuff, Thailand had good 7-Elevens, just not here in Malaysia. Yeah, here you got to skip by those. And I did actually put in a lot more, like the stores that I went into and stuff. In some of my older videos, but they're just not worth it here. Plus, I don't buy a lot of stuff. But yeah, I understand the request. Yeah, but yeah. So unfortunately, Matt, they're not good here in in Malaysia, but that's good because that gives you it opens up. So if you get so used to, like me especially, if I have a 7-Eleven and stuff and they carry everything I need or something, then the recluse in me just goes to that because it's something I know and stuff. So not having that option um, kind of forces me to go to the street vendors, and each street vendor is going to be a little different. I mean, a lot of them carry the same type of meat on a stick and all that, um, but it and fried bananas and stuff like this. But it forces you out and try new things. So yeah, it's all about street food here in Malaysia. Um, is Well, someone told me there was a CS. Okay, CS says Lantern Festival is in mid autumn. It is on October 6th. Time left. Well, it might not be the Chinese Lantern Festival. I don't know. The thing is, I saw them setting up for something, and then someone dropped a mention in the comment and says this weekend there in Sheraton is a Lantern Festival. Um, uh, so that's when I was like, okay, well, that's what they're setting up for. So it might not be the same Lantern Festival as the Chinese one, but they're definitely setting up for something this weekend. So I'm gonna see what that's all about. Maybe more users are logged on in the day. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But the thing is like we should all have our own bandwidth. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I guess there. Yeah, so Felice says maybe there. He's talking about the Wi-Fi. Maybe there's just more people logged on during the daytime. Oh, definitely. Everybody's on their phone constantly. It's just I figured the bandwidth would be big enough that even I thought peak hours was like a thing of the past, but I guess we still have peak hours. Um, I think that's why Hotlinks offers you unlimited 5G Wi-Fi from 8 p.m. to 8 in the morning. So I guess those are the slow hours, and everything before that is busy. From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the busy times, and 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is the slow time. So, um, would love to see a video from inside. I have one. Matt, I have a video from the inside of a Family Mart here in Malaysia. Uh, because one thing the Family Mart does have is a better selection. So, like, I have videos on the 7-Eleven. So, the way I do a price check is I go in to find out how expensive one spot is to another. I used to always go into the 7-Eleven and do the price check on known items. So, that would be like Sting energy drink. I know that price, and the water, right? A liter and a half of water. Every new spot I go into, and I filmed this and I showed it. I go in and do price checking. So in my earlier videos, I just haven't been doing it recently because I've already done it. You know what I'm saying? So I do price comparison. So some of my videos in the past, you see me gauging of how expensive like one of the islands are. So as soon as I get on the island, I figure out how expensive it's going to be by going into 7-Eleven and seeing how much more each product is. And I have all these on video. Um, Family Mart, not in Thailand, not so much. No, in Malaysia, I did. I started seeing the Family Marts popping up. Like, so I went in, and the Family Marts are like 100 times better because they actually have real food that you have them cook and stuff. They have a proper sitting area, a very nice proper sitting area with garbage cans and stuff like this. And you actually do have family people in there sitting down, and so it almost looks like a restaurant in the first part. Some of them, and but the thing is their food is still like expensive. So it's like you go in and you're still getting overcharged, even though they have a nice sitting area and stuff and a better selection. They still don't have it's just they don't have the selection like they do in Japan and stuff like that. Japan by far is the top. You know, they have the best toilets and they have the best convenience stores. It's just how it is. But that's because everybody eats it's like 7-Eleven's just basically a restaurant, in Japan. Everybody buys their food there and goes out and sits down somewhere and eats. But yeah, so it's not like I don't have those. It's just the repetitiveness and trying to stay away from, or I just changed, in time. I was like, I've been there, done that. So I'll try to remember next time I pass by since it's been a minute or two. Next time I go by a Family Mart, I'll drop in and get some good footage and and show why I think it's a better choice out of the two. But still, it's not. Yeah, the you know what's cool about the street food here in Malaysia though? I'll tell you something. So I'll get a video from the inside of the Family Mart, and the street food here is good. It it really is. And I haven't gotten upset stomach, and it's clean too. Yeah, so Muslims have a pretty good dietary standards anyway. So that's gonna be that's gonna affect this. It's not like there's a less chance of you're gonna get food poisoning. Here in Malaysia than you might like somewhere else, like Vietnam or something. But honestly, I only got let's say, the backdoor trots from the Indian food, and that wasn't from food poisoning. It was just because the spicy curry it comes out the same that it goes in, same consistency. But yeah, sorry guys, but yeah, it's like if you're, I like hot and spicy food, and I like Indian curry, and anyway, uh, let's see, what am I missing here before? Yeah, Matt, are you? I'm assuming you're in the United States, right, Matt? With a name like Matt, usually that would be United States. Um, yeah, each cell. Flea says, well, each cell tower has a bandwidth capacity. Yeah, so as more users are logged onto it, the less bandwidth with the user. Yeah, and I thought they all upgraded their towers enough to, you know, but then again, I think upgrading their towers and increasing the bandwidth is like probably just a non-stop problem because there's always more people with more cell phones every day. Yeah, but are we? Ali says Lantern Festival was got free food, especially mooncakes and free lanterns and some Chinese. But CS was just talking about the Chinese Lantern Festival is in a different day. So is it the same type or is this something unique here? I'll have to find that out when I get there. It's some type of festival regardless. I'm just calling it a lantern festival because that's what I was told by one person in the comments. 7-Eleven Family Marts are not okay. You are right. 7-Eleven Family Marts not the value for money. These are generally convenience stores open 24/7 and their operational costs are higher. Yeah, so I think I remember that coming in is if you're going to cater to Western foods and stuff like that, you're going to get taxed here, I think, in Malaysia. Um, wait, let's see if that's correct. No, I might be thinking of Cambodia. I think Cambodia is the one that did that. They might do it here in Malaysia too, but Cambodia taxed Western style food. So, like, if it was Snickers and all this, it got an extra tax on it. But that couldn't be true for Malaysia because I see Snickers and M&Ms and Hershey's and stuff over at the 99 Speed Mart. So, and that's so I don't know. I don't know why 7-Eleven's so much more expensive. Maybe yeah, maybe they do get taxed. Yeah, definitely in Malaysia. CS, I agree. It's better to go to mom and pop stores. I went into one mom and pop store and I was just floored by how cheap the vegetables were. So I ended up going crazy and getting a whole lot of vegetables and making my own, cooking up my own stir fry. Strawberry stingers are awesome. Even the golden one, the golden dragons. Now, I did notice something about the stingers though. The flavor changes a little between Thailand and down here, and and also the sizes change a little bit. Some spots have the smaller stingers, but they're also a different price too, like cheaper and stuff. Um, because sometimes at the temples and stuff, they leave the stingers as the offering, at the little, little I don't know what they're called, birdhouses type of places. They have usually water. Oh, by the way, that's one good thing is if you ever, there's a survival tip for you. If you're way out in the middle of nowhere and you see one of those things, there's usually a bottle of water, on top of it. Sometimes it's been cracked or not, and I've had to do that before, like where I didn't have the water, and I was like, here's one of these, and it's like they leave the water, incense, and stuff like this for like a an offering, but I don't drink it all. I leave about that much just to freak everybody out. Like, where'd the water go? So anyway, um, let's see. But yeah, strawberry stinger is pretty awesome. Odin, okay. Oh, Japan's completely different in what they stock in their stores. Well, actually, they all are. Um, uh, the closest would be Cambodia and Thailand. They have a similar, but Thailand's way better. Yeah, Thailand is way better. But thing is, Japan has like fresh produce, so they have a huge selection of fresh produce that comes in, and then if they don't sell at a certain time, it goes on sale for a few yen off, and then if it's not sold by then, there's no second day food. It's all fresh every single day. So that's what's nice. So all right, guys. Let's see. I'm gonna wrap this up. It's already going on an hour. I haven't been able to keep it down to a half an hour yet. Uh, let's see. I'm just looking over the comments real quick. And cheap street food for them too. Okay, so Matt, you're from Central Oregon, Pacific Northwest. Okay, yeah, I grew up in kind of the northern California. We call it mid California, but also Olympia, Washington, and stuff. So Oregon's a very nice state. I went through it quite a few times. Um, Actually, I think my sister lives there. Yeah, I wild camped in Japan. That's where I got the hammock. So I was able to pick up the hammock for a proper price, but it didn't have tax, so it actually came out less than actually ordering it through Hennessy Hammock. So anything over 50,000 yen, it's tax free. You just show them your passport and stuff. They write down the information and no tax. So instead of this would be like $250 hammock, it was like basically only 200 because no shipping and handling, no shipping and handling, no tax and stuff. So, but when I saw that they also had the hex fly, I grabbed it quickly. I also grabbed an extra snake skin for when I collapse my hex fly. I just pull the snake skin over it, so I have a snake skin for my actual um, a snake skin for my Hennessy hammock. Uh, I also picked up the larger bag, which that's a must. And I think that's pretty well it. I think those were all the accessories I got. The one thing I didn't get and that I wanted is the rain catchments. that you put in the corners of the Hennessy hammock, and then you just put like a water bottle underneath it, and it catches the rainwater and it goes down into your water bottle. I couldn't find that, but I was limited in what I could get because it was Japan, and I basically pre-camped the whole time. I was pretty well. I pre-camped about half the time, which brought the price of Japan down. So that's why it was affordable for me, because half the time I was hanging from the trees up on a mountain somewhere. So, but I didn't record any of that. I didn't start doing this until Vietnam. So, uh, yeah. So Japan is more expensive. It is, but you can still search for like an over in Osaka is more cheaper. So there's parts of Japan, but you can still find hostels for $10 if you search hard. You're only going to find one here and one there, but you can find them. Um, have I been to the Hobo Museum? No, that's over in the same spot that they have the once a year they have a in the United States they have a National Hobo Day and stuff like that. And that's become more of a touristy type thing where there's no real hobos actually going to that. Maybe at one time real hobos went to it. Like I know that my friend Lefty Gondola actually used to. He talked about it, and that they'd give you little hobo dollars, and you could spend it on, like the Boy Scouts would give you little hobo dollars, and you could spend it on chili and stuff like this. But now it's more like a state fair, and they don't want drunks around, and they don't want, so there's like rules. So the real hobos are drunks, and well, they're vagabonds. They're actually tramps. There's a distinguish the difference is there's no real hobos anymore. Um, but I carry but some people carry the title as a badge of honor to give respect from where the roots are. So everybody more or less are tramps. Tramps are people that don't travel for work. They travel for. They're not traveling in search of work. They're just traveling to ride the rails. Just to ride the trains. So technically, all the dirty kids and all this and all the tramps are they're just all tramps, and that's technically what I am too. I'm a tramp. I'm not, but I'm not even a tramp right now because I'm not riding the rails. So if I go back to the United States, I'll start riding the rails again. So, but I'm not retired, so I can refer to myself as one because I'm not planning on retiring. Um, yeah, I'm too old to retire. So, okay, let's see. Let's wrap this up, guys. So no, I haven't been to the National Hobo Museum. I didn't go to the. I'll probably go to at least once. Go down and just check it out. But it is touristy to do the hobo convention every year. I'm staying another night here. That's what I was. So Flea was asking if I'm staying another night here. One, it's sprinkling, yeah, and I'll probably just leave my stuff up here, jump on the bike, and go over there. That way, I already know I have a spot to come back to and camp. It's not too far. It's just like maybe 3 or 4 kilometers down the way. 3 kilometers, and I'll stay here a night. Probably just one night. I'll probably move out tomorrow, but like I'm not in a super big hurry. I'm gonna be done with these travels. If I move too fast, I'll be done way too early. So yeah, maybe just one more night though. Enough to get like some of this festival on. I don't know. I'll figure it out by tomorrow. Like if I'm gonna take off tomorrow or not. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I did. Well, Matt said, did I do Japan with only the reflective sunshade as an insulation? That's the only thing I've been using. That's all you need actually. So in Japan, yeah, same thing. The Mister the DIY Mister DIY is where you buy them, and they're in Japan. So Or you can also go to the 100 yen store, which is a dollar store, and they actually have some pretty good camping gear because in Japan, all the camping gear is like 4 times as expensive as REI. And you know how expensive REI is, right? So, give me a good like military surplus store. That's what I want. A Salvation Army or a good military surplus store. Um, so yeah, but I really didn't need it because it was summertime in Japan. But I did carry one. Uh, yeah. So. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think I got through all the. I made sure I got through all the comments because after I post this, they kind of go into the ether. I used to be able to pull them up, but I don't know if it's because I'm posting the video that I can't pull them up. But they used to stay live for a while. But as soon as I get off, it says processing, processing, processing. And it processes for like 3 days. So I can't call up the chats after I log out. And YouTube needs to do something because if I jump over to my other account or over to YouTube Studios, I'm able to pull up the actual video. But when I'm in my account that actually posted this, it still says it's processing. I don't know what they're processing, but yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. It's been an hour, so I'll try and start getting this video uploaded. Just keep an eye open for it. I mean, it's already uploaded. I just need to put the final touches on it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Peace out, amigos.